Ooh. Uh-oh. Hello? Hello?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, there we go. Now I can hear you. I'll turn you up a little bit. Okay, so
Them, like, I have one of the holocrons, she has the other. We both try to open them when they're like touching.
Wait, hold on. I know it's not in the forest tree, but there is like a mind meld thing.
a mind melting. Ooh.
Oh god, it's like it might have to be
My
later.
mind to yours.
Oh, because
Force meld is
so
what you're thinking of. Force meld.
yes, force meld.
Known as the Jedi mind united blah 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 whatever blah blah blah.
Or canonically known.
So, you're reading the same article I am. I'm probably.
Song of the Force. That is so stupid.
Oh my gosh, this is dumb. Of course, it was in the. Of course, it would have been the Yuuzhan Vong when they introduced this weird stuff.
Makes sense, really.
I mean,
I say we can give it a go. I don't think we'll have high chances due to our lack of knowledge on the topic, but I think we should at least give it a roll.
I mean, okay.
Hey, crazier things have happened whenever I've offered up an idea and just done it.
What are we? Okay, so I'm trying to figure out what to even roll on this one. This one's kind of a little weird.
It's like a D100, and we have to get above a certain number. Is probably
Okay, yeah. Let's see. This has got to be really hard. So, of course, I rolled a 97 already. So let's. All right, let's see. Let's see.
How about you just pick a random block of numbers, like 30 to 34 or something like that?
That is just, so if you hit in that range, it's successful. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, you give us between three numbers, a range of three numbers, and we have to hit in those three.
A range of three numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, just let me just
if we hit right in the middle. It's super successful.
Random number generator, just so we can just make it even fair. All right, so between 1 and 100, your first number is 56.
So 54, 55, 56, 57 we're going for.
All right, 55, 56, or 57. You get either any of those three, you're going to bypass this whole adventure, essentially. 29. Wah, wah.
It was worth
a shot.
So I have Valen and Ruth. They're both holding these holocrons, and Praxis, you're sitting there, you're channeling your force energy into both of them, right? And they touch, and everybody kind of winces, waiting for something to happen, and nothing. Yeah, I mean, this is that part of the movie where the music builds. You guys, cameras get really close as they come together, and then, pink. Nothing. And it
was worth a shot.
You got your researcher there just kind of watching you like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Well, do you know how to do it? I don't think so, so it was worth a shot.
Ruth, I have a question for you.
Ruth.
Where did you study?
Well, it's been so long now. Let me look it up. I studied at it's right here somewhere. The best university in the former empire, obviously.
The Royal Academy.
So she studied at the Imperial Academy, probably in the
Imperial Prime University. Yep.
So Imperial, and obviously it was the intelligence arm. So
was it going to be Imperial Intelligence or ISB? That's the question. Where you get? I guess where you? Yeah, that's the question.
I was Well, okay, so my education was in intelligence, and then when I got into the Empire, it was through an internship where I definitely should have been paid more because I was doing a lot more than they ever expected me to, and I was handling all the data communications between the various destroyers and dealing with all that. And I had my whole
Ooh.
future set out, and it was going to be great. And they promised me so much, and now it's all gone. So
Oh, so she has cryptology. Oh. Really?
Actually,
Yeah.
I know it was like an Imperial Probe Droid monitoring program. I forget what it was called.
But she would have worked for, looks like you probably worked for the IIS, the Imperial Intelligence Service. Uh, Now, if yeah, the Imperial Intelligence working with the naval and you probably in naval intelligence if you did communications for the fleet.
Well, there's intelligence. Well, are you looking at the canonical or Legends version? Just so I'm on the
I'm
same page as you.
looking at Imperial Intelligence. This is the the Wikipedia article.
Right, which
Uh,
tab? The canon and Legends tab.
I'm on the canon tab.
Okay.
Actually, the Imperial Intelligence Service. They had the Imperial Naval Intelligence. Um, Based on what she just said, that would be make the most sense is the communication between the fleet, fleet troop analysis, the Naval Intelligence Agency.
Hmm.
It's actually a
So she knew. Oh shit! She knew of Cinder.
mm-hmm.
Oh shit!
You are you have secrets.
Yo, that's fucking awesome.
I mean, yeah, she man. So it's a good chance that she spent time on Coruscant at some point during her
Well,
career.
considering the headquarters would be on the Compnor area of things,
Yeah,
so
near the Imperial Palace.
you're gonna be our guide here.
She's gonna know Coruscant better than most of you. All right, Ruth, you get to you're so your target, now that you have a report to give to whoever, your target is going to be the Jedi archives in the former Jedi Temple. Um,
Okay, who has control of this now? Because it's what is Coruscant like at this point in our sandbox universe?
so in our sandbox universe, this is, well, first of all, Starkiller Base doesn't exist. So,
Yeah.
and this is the First Order hasn't revealed themselves either. So it should be under the Galactic Republic's control. Which was it? Did they still? Did they kept the capital on Coruscant for a little bit? Did before they moved it? I didn't think.
Let's check. Let's check when they started the. I think they did the rotation thing from the beginning. Unfortunately,
Yeah, so it may not be the capital world. We know it's a core world though, and it's still one of the main worlds in the Republic.
yeah, it's either Hosnian. It'll be Hosnian Prime or Coruscant, depending on the year.
Okay, so I mean that it doesn't. I in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't super
Might just
matter.
mean. I guess my
Uh,
question is how established is the New Republic at this point? Because what year are we in now?
we said roughly. Ooh, this is
9, I think.
yeah 9 after Yavin or not Endor. I mean 9 after Endor. So they
9
yeah
after Yavin. 9. You said 9 after Yavin, I think, because we're around 9 ABY.
Yeah, ABY, because that's right. That's the point that they use, not Endor.
Endor.
Yeah,
So, I
9
mean,
after-
we're only 3 years removed from the Battle of Jakku.
Yeah, so the Republic is still trying to figure things out, but they do have control of the core worlds. Now, does that mean what does that mean for their defenses? Coruscant is probably the most heavily defended world, where it's got to have the largest presence, because it's still one of the main central pieces. Also, got to remember where it's located. It's located like almost in the dead center. So
Okay. I have another question then. So because this, I did this new Republic follow the allowing of like former Imperials like to kind of rejoin the political scene, like in canon, or did they do it differently?
that's one things that I was like, did they keep it? Did they allow Imperials? See,
Well, there was that whole re-education camp thing.
yeah, and it was kind of weird the way they did that too, because I was like, does that sound like something that they would have done, that whole re-education camp in the old canon? I don't know if that's something that would have happened. Because a lot of these guys would have been seen as war criminals and things of that nature. But
It would have been hard to imprison all of them.
that's
I mean, there
true.
were millions of people
Yeah,
that worked for the Empire.
And a lot of them, on the other side of the coin, a lot of them were conscripted too.
Yeah.
The Empire did conscription service. They didn't exactly give you a chance to say no, especially
Yeah.
towards the end of the war. So there could have been. It's very possible that they have the re-education camps going on, and that's something that we can absolutely investigate. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, because Ruth's whole thing is that she refused to go to the re-education camps. She's like, there's
Ooh.
no
So then-
way that you're gonna get me to, sacrifice my entire career, because the Empire was around for an entire generation,
Mhm.
right? And so it's like, she had spent her whole, career trying to get into the Empire with the knowledge that the Empire had and the structure that the Empire had. Like, you're not just going to take that all away from me. So
Right. So based on that, we have to have the re-education camps. They have to exist because you said no. Okay, so that gives us a nice thing to work with. All right. So what do we? How do you guys want to? So it's the three of you. So we have Ruth, Praxis, and Valen going to Coruscant. Valen, what's your knowledge or lore? Do we remember you had a lore?
Let me check.
Yeah. Check. Trying to see.
Valen has 1 in education.
But no lore specific. Okay. Just education. I was just saying, does anyone have points in core worlds would be nice right about now.
Core worlds.
I do. I have Jade core.
Oh,
So
nice.
on my point on that, I was thinking possibly, considering I was an elite group, in an elite squad of like for the Imperials. Once the actual Imperial broke off, it's not necessary that all of them stayed there. Some of them probably just liked fighting, so they very easily could have been like the elite squad, which obviously would have funneled their way back to the core worlds because that's where you get the most money for doing dangerous missions.
Right.
Maybe I have an old contact in that I can talk to.
That's absolutely true. Right now it's more about yes, absolutely. But Ruth, go ahead and give me that role since you have knowledge of the core worlds. I was gonna say somebody surely has some core world knowledge. Okay. Ruth, your intelligence, you being an intelligence person, you've kept tabs on what's going on Coruscant because you spend a lot of time there. You'll probably also have contacts. You both have contacts there. So once again, the Republic has begun the rebuild of Coruscant. Well, that's what the Republic's billing it as, the rebuild. You probably see it more as a tearing down of the establishment.
Also, I'm back home. I can roll for myself now.
Oh, sweet.
All right.
Oh, yeah, you were logged in. So,
Say, you might want to. We have to find a way for you to keep your like armor stats, but also change out of your armor because that's gonna get all the wrong attention.
Well, I'm wearing all of it.
So
I don't think I've counted the robes or anything.
That's right. We have multiple robes on now. So one thing that you guys know, the Jedi Temple, obviously not an official Jedi Temple, but it has been converted into a museum. Think of like the Smithsonian kind of deal, but for Jedi. So
Or the Holocaust Museum.
That's probably more accurate. The Holocaust Museum. But yes, it is in a museum. So it is a tourist attraction now. The Jedi Archives buried deep underneath. So you can expect a similar kind of security that you would see in Washington, D.C. at some of the Smithsonian, where they have very important historical artifacts. So,
considering how old Coruscant is and how deep it actually goes, would it be possible?
There's a back door somewhere.
There's definitely a back door, but we have someone who like very in-depthly researched things along these lines on Coruscant. Would it be at all possible for her to maybe pull up like or find a way to pull up some really old building plans from like years and years and years ago?
Yeah, Ruth, I think it's. I think you I'm thinking about your past now, Ruth. It's going to be kind of helpful if we're on the same page.
I think there's possible potential for for both of you, Ruth and Valen, to reach out to their contacts they may have on Coruscant and arrange some meetings ahead of your arrival, so you guys can meet up with these contacts and potentially get some.
I have heard rumor of a utilidor-like system, because the Jedi needed to get out and about to buy supplies, food, and things. So maybe there's something like that wasn't just a rumor.
Interesting. So, it would make sense. It explains how some of them survived the purge.
Maybe. You know what?
Maybe we could talk to an old clone that tore the place apart, or one of the old guards that's probably down in a bar somewhere getting drunk because he failed his Jedi.
I think all the guards became Inquisitors or were killed, unfortunately.
Yeah, but like I was like, that rumor about the Jedi. Yeah, so there's a couple of opportunities for you to get some extra intel besides what you're just looking for on Coruscant. Because remember, even if it's not the main capital right now, it's still going to have a lot more intelligence information available than the worlds you've been on. So, in regards to your target, so yeah. So your other two can do is while they'll be off investigating, following their own leads. You guys are going to head to Coruscant.
Well, didn't one of the two we're missing just join?
Yeah, Conrad just joined.
Yeah.
Guys.
Hey. You
Sorry,
snuck in on me. Snuck in on me.
No, yeah. I'm actually like logging into Roll20 because so there's a lantern parade going off the actual street of my house.
Oh.
So they closed the
Oh no.
Oh, the robot race has attacked him.
Yeah.
Oh, damn robots.
It's all right. So when you log in, the first thing I want you to do is roll your destiny points. See if you can tilt the odds in your favor. So TAC is just going to stay on here working with the intelligence groups here, coordinating some stuff. You guys are.
Actually, I just remembered we do have that gang at our disposal to cause some distractions if we need them to.
That's true.
Well, they're way off on another planet. We'd have to figure out how to get them from an outer rim to the core.
I
I'm
thought
sorry, Jeff. You said to roll what? I'm sorry.
Your destiny. Roll
Oh,
destiny
right.
for me.
Destiny. Gotcha.
Yeah. Didn't help you guys.
I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
It's all right. They
again.
it's not that big. It's not that big of a difference. Okay, so to get you caught up, you brought the Sith holocron that you guys found on Dromikos back to your researcher. The team tried to combine the two by simply touching them together, thinking that would work. It did not.
Spoiler. Yeah.
Spoiler alert, it
Well, we
didn't work.
touched them together while trying to open them, and it
Yeah,
didn't
they
work.
were like, we had this whole scene. I was like, the music's building, the cameras are zooming in as you guys they're inching together. Praxis is over there channeling force into them, and then the music cuts out, and tink, nothing happens. Researchers like, and you really thought that was gonna work? I just
Oh,
told you
no.
I just told you we needed a special ritual that nobody knows. The only place you're gonna find it is on Coruscant. Shocker. So you guys are going to Coruscant, trying to figure out who you're going to talk to when you get there, because you've got to apparently break into the Jedi Temple, which is not a Jedi Temple anymore. It's a museum.
Yeah, and Coruscant is so small too. I'm sure we can find whatever.
It's only a core world with like 10 trillion people on it.
Right.
But we also discovered that Ruth was a former intelligence agency for the Imperial Navy. So she spent time on Coruscant. She knows a lot about it. And so she's digging up contacts, and
Valen was an Imperial Commando.
Yeah, Valen was an Imperial Commando, so he spent time on Coruscant. So he's probably got contacts that he can dig up. So they're both trying to figure out who can they call while you guys are en route to set up some rendezvous and help plan this heist.
Well, I will say, in case Trainer hasn't said, I don't know anyone in Coruscant, so just in case.
Just in case it hasn't come up, you have no contacts there. Praxis is the same way. Praxis is like,
Deathlemere, I don't got contacts here.
This is another place where Praxis is probably going to be wearing a mask.
Trainer is probably like pulling up to Coruscant. It's like, gosh, these buildings are real tall. He's
You're a farm boy.
Yeah, right.
He's a small boy from a poor family.
I love it. All right. So I guess Ruth and Valen, give me a name of a contact and who they are and how you know.
Wait. Didn't we send a long time ago a list of people that we wanted our crew to interact with?
Ooh, let me see if I can find those. Oh gosh, I forgot all about those. I'm sorry. It's been that kind of month.
Well, good. I also took notes on everything.
Let's see. Ruth. Let's see.
This was like back at the end of last year.
Yeah, this was. Ooh. I don't know if Ruth wants me to use that one or not. That's up to her. I did find it.
This is something that I was gonna like talk to you about eventually, and just I wanted to kind of give you more free reign to do whatever you wanted to do. And so
I mean, I can use that one if you want me to. That one would be a pretty interesting scene for us to play out. And I'm completely cool with doing that. if that's the contact you want it to be. If you want them to come up with a different one, I'm fine with that too. But that one,
Yeah,
No,
be out.
that one would be.
let's
You want to table that one, or do you want to use that?
no, we can use it. Yeah,
Okay.
let's just go ahead and get that out
Okay,
of the
that
way.
one's going to be a big C. I feeling that might take up a little bit more time just because of the. I just realized I just read the whole sentence and I'm like, okay, this is going to be an interesting scene. So are we saying you're from Coruscant?
The university there's like a branch of the university at Coruscant, so yeah, I would say that probably from that area, family lives in the area.
You're originally from. Okay, all right. Spoiler alert. Valen, did you send me something? I'm looking for that.
I sent you something about the second lieutenant who got most of my unit messed up,
Okay, I'm just
but I hate him now.
okay. That would also be a fun conversation. These two conversations could eat up a good time, but it would be a very interesting conversation if you want to use it. Just send me the name again because I'm trying to find it in all my messages that people send me.
Yeah, I'll find it real quick.
Yeah, but I have no problem doing that. Okay. That is completely fine. Yeah, because we perfect. Okay, there it is.
And I
I'm also
assumed he would be
seeing-
of the human variety since he's a second lieutenant.
Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, in the Imperial
What?
forces, yeah, I'm gonna imagine.
You're saying the Imperial forces were a really accepting group? What are you implying?
I mean, okay. This is gonna be fun. So I've got both of those. So we're gonna go, of course. The other two are along for the ride kind of deal. All right, I'm gonna just pull this over here just so I have them. I'm gonna put them in my other sheet so I can have them both on the same page at the same time because otherwise I'll get lost.
And also, considering who my guy is and the fact that he hates this dude and the people he doesn't hate, he murders just on sight. I would like to think that I've been keeping tabs on this guy on his
Oh yeah.
Did he go against the Empire and go through the reconstitution? Is he hiding in a hole?
Right. I have
stuff
this
like
sneaking
that.
suspicion. I can see Ruth setting up her meeting. Your meeting is not necessarily going to be set up. You're just going to kind of ambush this guy.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I'm not calling this guy to let him know that I'm on the way.
You're just going to tell him
because if he knows I'm coming, he's going to run.
I got a contact. Don't worry, he'll get us what we need. You're not going to call him ahead of time. It's going to be like, it's his birthday. I want to surprise him.
Yeah, I haven't told anyone else about this guy, so no one knows anything other than the fact that I'll surprise him and he'll tell us what we need to tell.
Okay. All right. So the question is, who wants to go first? Because this could be both of these scenes. We'll probably do one before our break and one after our break. So.
All right. Ruth is gonna sigh because I think she can realize that Val is not very wanting to meet his guy.
Okay. So we're on the ship.
You see me polishing my guns, lining up the sights a little better.
On the ship en route, you're in the warp tunnel or the hyperspace.
Can we also say I picked up a couple more of those knockout grenades?
Sure, you got a couple more knockout grenades.
Another belt full for this guy.
Another belt full. This guy's gonna wake up in a basement somewhere.
We have a whole bunch.
Valen's just gonna. You guys wait outside. I got this. All right. Anyway. Okay. So. Yeah. So Ruth, I guess you're gonna set up your meeting first.
Okay. So I turn to everybody and I say, since we're going to Coruscant, and we're trying to get into the Jedi Temple, I know of one person who knows way more about the Jedi and the inner workings than anybody I could think of. He is an apologist for the Empire. And from the Empire's inception, he was very pro Palpatine. He was very pro Empire. So he also works at the former university, Imperial Prime University, and he would have possible access to city plans of Coruscant and the surrounding Jedi Temple area to maybe see how best we can get in.
Interesting. You'll have to at a later date elaborate on what your studies entailed. You leave much your past shrouded, and I seek to learn about it sometime.
Well, I never really cared much about the inner workings of apologizing for politicians. I cared more about actually learning about what was going on in the galaxy, making the galaxy a better place. But my father, and yes, the man that we're meeting is my father. He is much more interested in that side of things. And he was very anti-Jedi and made it his life mission to know everything he could and push me into that role as well.
The more you speak, the more you become an enigma.
So I still have data communication, but I haven't talked to him since the whole thing went down. He doesn't know that what has become of me. Just knows that I'm not dead. So I don't really know how his reaction's going to be when I see him again.
This does bring up a question. I hate to pry into your family dynamics, but we can't reveal who we're with, even though it may win him over to our cause. At least not initially.
Upon her saying all that, I slide over a knockout grenade and here you go.
You want to kill her father, that's your business.
Hey, it's a knockout grenade.
It won't kill him, but I think honestly, at this point, he'd be more than happy to talk to anybody who still believes in the Empire's motivations and reinforces his hatred of the Jedi.
Alright, so we definitely have a stance we'll be taking when we talk with him.
I'll wear my Inquisitor robe to talk to him.
I forgot you have an Inquisitor robe.
I've got
a Jedi robe, Inquisitor robe, and whatever the robe those guys were wearing that we beat up.
And a
cultist robes. Yeah, he's got the cultist robe too. So,
yeah, but that one's small, so it's I put it on my shoulder, and when you put a jacket on that's too small, it doesn't close in the front. And you can't really bring your shoulders forward. It's like that, and about 6 inches too short.
I love it so much. Okay, so Ruth, you're gonna set up a meet with your father, and Valen, are you gonna tell anybody about this guy, or are you just gonna say, I know someone?
So the man I know
is
I have of sorts. The guy's a bit of a bastard, and he will not be happy to see me, but he owes me big time. And if he doesn't remember how he owes me, I have a few ways to remind him. So, yeah. You guys just see me packing a duffel bag, or the Star Wars version of that, with some very interesting tools that I have pulled out of the mechanics bay.
Ruth, is that going to get by the security of the university?
Well, it's just a bunch of like
Um,
wrenches and stuff. It's nothing crazy. It's not like it's a vibro sword. Maybe whatever version of like a car battery to a small speeder. One of those is in there.
Jumper cables.
Yeah, jumper cables. What's that
Star
thing
Wars
that Jar Jar put his tongue in?
Oh, like the beam between the pod racer.
Yep, I've
Yeah.
got a very small version of that.
Okay, yeah, well, that scene's gonna be different. These two scenes could not be more different. All right. So we're going to the university first. It sounds like.
Yes.
Yep.
So Coruscant looks a lot different than when you left, Ruth. Obviously, there is the population is a lot more diverse than it was when you left. We have and you see it's a little more colorful, a little less grayscale. So as we get to the university, it's no longer the Imperial Academy or the Imperial Intelligence Academy. It is the whatever the New Republic's going to call it, the New Republic Free Learning Center, whatever. You know,
I like to think it still has the like, you know how like when a Walmart or something closes or Target, it still has like the outline.
You can still see the outline.
There's just like
of
a
the
very
Imperial
there's like a
insignia.
very faded, very graffitied over Imperial
The
insignia.
hexagon is still there, faded into the cinder block, but they've put the New Republic logo over it, but you can still see the outline where it's worn out. The weather wore it. Wore the
Because I don't think we're quite far enough to where they were like, we're going to redo the whole building.
Right. No. This is
I think it was more like, we need to just get this out of there, get this up there.
Yeah, just repurposed and stuff.
I feel like they turn it into like cheesy, like Love Wins graffiti with like the outline somehow.
You got that, and you got students of all races and species going through, and just lots of
and you see a few students that are just a little too clean, and you're just like, you are here for re-education.
Yeah, you got a couple that still have the clean military cuts and
The very stiff backs.
The clothes are just pressed a little bit too much for a college student.
Yeah.
Ruth scoffs and she says, "God, this place has really gone to the dogs."
Let the dogs eat what they will. The charhounds you must look out for.
Yeah. So you get up there, you look at the directory, and Ruth, you find your father's name. He is the chair of Jedi Studies. And you find his office. You know how to find your way to his office. Question is, do you want to bring all 4 of your cohorts with you, or all 3 of your cohorts with you?
Yeah, they don't. They don't stand out too bad, right?
There's only one who I would be concerned about standing out, and believe it or not, it's not the Night Sister.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
How about this? I look at the directory and see if they've made a room for my race to go in to where we can take our masks off, because we hardly ever get to do that.
Oh yeah,
and see if there's like a safe space for what the heck am I again? I forget.
What race am I? Oh yeah, I can't take my mask off. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. There's there's a room just for species who don't breathe oxygen.
I go into there because I haven't taken this mask off in at least 2 years. It's pretty. I need a moment to breathe.
You need to clean your mask so it's Okay, so
Yeah.
You're like,
I-
this is nice.
Yeah, so you're in there with a bunch of college students of your race, and I don't know what college students of your race do. But we can assume they're doing college student things.
So either studying
Yeah.
or getting drunk.
We're getting drunk on alcohol that only my species can drink,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, species.
and I'm telling them about my old battle scars. But I'm changing the story to where I used to be a gun for hire rather than an imperial commando.
There you go. So they're asking you about all the famous battles. Where did you serve, and who did you serve with, and did you get to meet? Did you see Luke in action? Was he really like that?
I didn't see him in action, but I saw his after effects.
I mean, they've got like almost you almost get a sense of reverence they have for him, and you're trying not to,
Want to slap the shit out of them.
Yeah. First one that asked me how many people you've killed, bam, right to the dome.
Meanwhile, the other three of us are going up to the Jedi Studies department, and you walk in, and it's kind of like an archaeology department almost. Mini, they got this mini museum where they show off all the relics, their important relics that they have. Which is, they've got robes from the Old Republic and ancient Jedi text, things of that nature. And there's several students doing research and things like that. They kind of look up at you guys because you guys, don't look like students or professors that they would know. So, kind of get a couple looks. You get approached by a little attendant, and asking you who you are and why are you here, and can he help you?
I speak up and I say, I'm here to see Professor of the director of Jedi Studies. Tell him Ruth is here.
We haven't come up with your surname, have we?
No.
Yeah, we he's quite busy. Did you have an appointment? And this is a little mousy assistant. You do have an appointment.
We do. He will definitely make time for me. Please tell him that I'm here now.
You get that little Imperial authority comes through, and he's like, gets a little shaken and just runs off.
Your education precedes you.
Meanwhile, there, everybody's just kind of looking at you guys. Can kind of just wander around while you're waiting, and kind of meander. So feel free to tell me if you want to look for anything specific while you wait.
I'm here.
Go ahead. Anybody?
I had a train of thought and then I lost it. So
Oh no! I was like, I heard somebody start to talk, and I was like, okay, cool. Because this is that kind of little moment you're waiting for the assistant to come back with who you're waiting for, but you got all these relics lying around. You can feel free to peruse.
what kind of relics are they? Because I assume they're not having holocrons out in the open.
No, this is more like, these would be not like the highly valuable, but they're definitely Jedi relics that they either pulled from the temple or, maybe maybe one of those training helmets that they had, some training sabers, kind of things that to illustrate what what the Jedi use, tools that the Jedi would have used before the Empire kind of
There's a
massacred
glass case with a piece of gum that Mace Windu chewed one time.
his wallet says BMJ.
There's just Yoda's dictionary, which is just a dictionary scrambled.
Probably got Yoda. You probably do have Yoda's walking stick. One of his walking sticks, and there's the pictures of the famous Jedi that everybody knew. Things like that. Some training probes.
What of these relics did you learn during your education?
Ooh.
Are you doing an education check?
I can do an education. You can do an education check if you want to. Whenever you're ready. This is absolutely a way for you to flesh out your character a little bit too. This is.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Whenever you're
or
ready.
is it? Would it be more? It's the same for me, but
do either or. It really. This is. The way he phrased the question, way they phrased the question is absolutely. It could be education or lore, because.
Oh my gosh!
So pretty much, you have free range. You can say whatever you want. 2 triumphs. I'm gonna let you just say whatever you want. It's you absolutely have free range to say what you know about the Jedi. Obviously, with your parental guidance and your education, you probably know more than most.
Okay, so I motioned Praxis over to a book, and I say, growing up, this was one of my favorite artifacts my dad just kind of had laying around his office. But it tells stories of all the times that various Jedi youngling would accidentally stab each other with training sabers. And you think that would be really difficult because, the intensity of training sabers is really low, but they always found a way to just really maim themselves with these. So it's just like a whole bunch. It's like a medical kind of journal, and it's just like all the times Jedi have really been really stupid with the various tools that they have at their disposal, and unintentionally maiming themselves or others that they consider their friends.
Interesting. Why does this call to you? It's seemingly just a story of self-sabotage and scarring.
To me, as a kid, it was always a way to remind myself that the Jedi thought themselves superior, but they weren't. They were just morons who happened to have connection to the Force. They didn't work for it. They claimed that they trained, but there were so many Jedi that just weren't what the Jedi mantle was supposed to be. They claimed it was to be.
Do you believe that it was? Personal.
It doesn't really matter now, does it? There's only one Jedi left, and we're gonna get him. So
it does matter, Ruth. I don't care about. Well, I know we'll get that last one, but I want to know your true opinion on how they operated. Why do you hate them so much? There's a burning hatred inside you, and I want to know what flames it.
Honestly, to me, they operated outside of the law, and they got to do whatever they wanted to do. And I don't know. Maybe, of course, there's always different sides to different arguments, right? But I've seen how hard people worked in the Empire. People there were good people who believed in structure and bringing justice, true justice, not arbitrary sentiments by a group of people who they themselves didn't know how to govern themselves. So, yeah.
Interesting. True woman of order and structure. Yet here
So
we
we-
are, doing our own thing. The universe does work in mysterious ironies, does it not?
Well, sometimes you gotta roll with what the universe gives you.
Indeed. Find your perspective most interesting.
Traynor, were you doing anything while they were talking, or are you just kind of hanging out?
I was listening to Ruth, like her whole explaining of that, you know what her history with the Jedi is, and I just kind of interject that the Jedi, I'm sorry, the Jedi, the Jedi may be like very good war generals and very skilled fighters, but they are not good leaders of countries and people. And I just put my head down and agree with Ruth on everything she's saying. But introspectively, don't say anything more than what I said. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as you are giving that explanation, Ruth, an older gentleman you immediately you would recognize, but he kind of comes up behind you quietly. He goes, and he speaks in a much more friendly tone than you anticipated. But he says, I believe we may have misjudged the Jedi just a little too harshly. And you turn around, you see your father, and he's smiling, and he hugs you. And this is all catching you off guard because you did not expect any of these reactions from him. And your two companions can kind of see this weird, confused face.
Okay, I awkwardly pat him in the hug. And I'm like, oh, hey, Dad, it's been a long time. How have you been?
I'm doing fantastic. It is so good to see you. I've missed you so much. So good to see that you are back. How are things? What have you been up to?
Oh, this and that. I finished those re-education camps, and it was
Fantastic, aren't they? They just give us a new lease on life.
Can I just go up to him and say, "Hello, Mr. Ruth," and just because I'm a 6'4", 6'4", I just lift him up. Hello, Mr. Ruth.
Once you put it back down, he extends his hand and says, "How nice to meet you. I assume you're a friend of Ruth's."
I would assume too.
All right, but it's been so long. What brings you to Coruscant?
well, I thought I'd check out the old stomping grounds, see how you were doing. Do you mind if we go into your office and talk for a bit?
Absolutely. And he speaks to his little assistant and says, "Just hold all my calls and meetings for now, and and then takes you to his office. It's a very well, by our standards, it's a very nice office. By Imperial standards, it probably looks a little cluttered. It's not as ordered as you would expect him to keep his office. There's research kind of strewn about. There's some relics, some things that he's researching. He's got their version of a whiteboard, whatever it would be, kind of with notes all over it. And he kind of clears off some chairs for you guys to sit down in. And he says, "Please sit. Can I get you anything? A drink, some tea?" It's just being overly friendly, and you just have no idea what's going on.
Okay, can I do what's it in this game?
Insight,
perception check?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
go for it. I think. What are you trying to glean out of this? Just so I
I'm
know.
trying to see if he's trying to scope out whether or not I actually went to the re-education camps and whether or not he actually believes that if he really kind of is turning over a new leaf and has opened up his mind to the Jedi.
Okay, so yeah, you're trying to do an insight check on him. Okay, cool. I just
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, I think perception's the only thing we really have to go off of in this game. So whenever you are ready, go ahead and make that perception check for me. Okay, so yeah, so success with threat. The threat is very obvious. He is actually. It appears he has been re-educated.
Okie dokie.
So, I don't know how you want to approach this, but I said I thought I'd throw a wrinkle at you, and this was the wrinkle. So
Yep, let's roll with it. Okay. You've really redecorated this office since last been here, Dad.
Oh yes, since the Republic took over, they've opened up the whole underside of the temple. Let us have free reign to dig under there, pull all things out, and actually really investigate the Jedi and their ancient philosophies. And we've made so many discoveries on things that the Empire just fabricated, and we've been able to debunk a lot of that and really show the Jedi in the proper light.
Oh yeah, and Ruth has a bit of like a gritted, teeth. That sounds so nice, Dad.
I will say, Praxis is also like not nearly as much as Ruth, but if you look closely, she kind of cocks her head a little bit because like she thinks the reason the Night Sisters got massacred is because the Jedi didn't protect them. So like she's also like, go on.
Go. Like
All right. So I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna say, speaking of these new developments that the wonderful Republic has given you access to with the Jedi Temple, we were wondering, me and my friends, here, clearly we hang out all the time, and we were talking the other day, and we were trying to discern how the Jedi got things in and out of the temple efficiently, quietly, without making too much disturbance to the general public around them. I know that sometimes, even prior to the war, some people could be uneasy around the Jedi. How did the temple go about that?
oh, well, let's see. For one, they had their own speeder bays, so they could just literally fly in and out of the temple, along with their own landing pads if needed. So there was that. There's also tunnels underneath if they needed to escape. Unfortunately, that didn't work as well, but they did have them. They go out into the Undercity if need be. Just they were a very efficient organization.
And these tunnels, they connected to the entire temple. They were kind of like a, artery system.
Yeah, they would access you would access the main shaft from there, and you could access any part of the temple you wanted to.
I know that the temple now is a museum. Do they do tours of the tunnel system?
No, they only do the main areas. You would see the council chamber, the main training areas, living quarters. Unfortunately, past the basement would be restricted. It's just not safe there. There's too much tunnel damage still.
With all due
but
respect,
surely you've been down there, right?
Also, this is your daughter. You want to make her happy, don't you? Come on.
Yeah,
Maybe I
Mr.
could-
Ruth.
Yeah.
Mr. Ruth.
I want to call him Mr. Ruth all throughout the
Wait,
all
wait.
throughout the
Oh,
night.
it's gonna be
What?
Ruth now. Oh my gosh.
Older sister, she's been talking nonstop about these inquiries she's had for the past 3 months. I haven't gotten an ounce of sleep, and if not for her, then for my own sanity, please.
Let's get gotta remember he has kind of drank the Kool-Aid at this point.
For his daughter's friend.
Think of it this way. He went from lawful evil to lawful good. So
But what's better than helping out your child?
not if it breaks the law, because the laws are there to keep us safe. And you kind of hear almost robotic when he says things like that too. He almost sounds a little robotic. Like
Ruth,
maybe there's a little bit of brainwashing going on.
Ruth tries to appeal to him by saying, you know, I regret it now, Dad, looking back, that I didn't pay enough attention to your lectures as a kid. And, you know, I'm not going to be on Coruscant for very long. And, you know, I'd like to learn more about what you study. And, you know, this tunnel system sounds really interesting. And you've been down there, you would know it best. And I'd love to learn more about what you're passionate about. I regret that I didn't do that more as a kid.
All right, give me 1 second. Gotta go find a stat block real quick.
Also,
This
I
is all
can.
on improv.
Also, I can. If this doesn't work, I always have my force influence power. So, if we need to pull that out, if this doesn't go well, we have that in our back pocket.
Oh, it's fine.
We can intimidate him into getting us into the tunnels.
I was just gonna have her. This is really charming. You're trying to charm him, so I've got to.
Yeah,
go.
I can roll.
I got to go with a charm check here. But I need his discipline because it's going to be opposed to his discipline.
Which I imagine is going to be very high.
All right, whenever you guys are ready.
Hey.
He likes his little girl. So he is not going to take you down there. But says for plausible deniability reasons alone. But he does give you a map showing you where several entrances to the tunnels can be found. He does warn you that they're dangerous. A lot of these tunnels have still partial collapses in them. They're not structurally stable still. So he advises caution.
Thanks so much, Dad. I always knew you were the best, and hopefully one day we'll meet again and be able to talk some more.
And he goes in for the big dad hug. And
I awkwardly pat his back.
Aww.
And he just wishes you well, and he says, please come back soon. You have to sit in on one of my lectures. I'm doing this whole new series on Jedi philosophy. It's gonna be great, and I got a new book coming out. I'll send you a copy.
Can I completely interfere in their like family moment and just like hug them both and lift them up? Like, you know, like Trainer doesn't take a hit. He's just like, oh, we're all hugging. Yeah, let's all hug.
Oh my god, you have too much EQ, not enough IQ. I gotcha.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Oh no. Like that's not the vibe right now.
Praxis is like, I just want out of this room, please.
And then camera hard cuts to me just living it up in the room.
I mean, you're two fisting right now.
Yeah. I'm just absolutely wasted telling these kids war stories.
Spilling
All that's going on.
It's like he's telling the story of Endor now. He's like these little Ewok things, man. I'm telling you, these teddy bears will give you nightmares.
The things I saw them do to people.
Okay, so we could before we go to what I'm sure is going to be a much darker scene, let's go ahead and take our break. Let's go ahead and get because I need to refill my drink and mentally prepare.
You're gonna need a
myself.
stat block.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a stat block but this one's a little bit easier. I can pull. I have tons of military stat blocks. That's actually I know where I can pull those stat blocks from. It's just that was this one was a little bit more on the improv side because I was like, I don't know how we want to play this, but I think that turned out better than I thought it was going to. That went much better. So we'll.
I quite enjoyed listening to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was very enjoyable on my end.
Yeah, in my mind, we're all happy.
I was gonna say, Ruth, I hope I did okay because that was I was like this could, I was like I can make this adversarial, but I was like, you know what? We just introduced the idea of these education camps. Let's play with it a little bit. I think it'll play a little bit better that way.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, this was really fun.
yeah. If you want to ask Trainer, he's like, it's all butterflies and rainbows from here on out.
This is just getting him that something's fucking up here. Like she she's not on track with everything, but she can just tell. Oh, something's fucking up.
I was gonna say, I was like the fact that I was like, yeah, he's gonna come in smiling and be the dad that a normal person would want, but definitely not the dad that she's expecting. And I was like, that'll be enough to throw her off guard enough and kind of, okay, well, we can't talk to him like we were planning to. Now we have to pivot. So, all right. So we'll take a break. We'll be, let's say 15 minutes just to be safe. And then we'll go to a different type of encounter altogether, I'm sure. So